So let me tell you about this wrestler I knew. He was a 3-time state champion, training for his 4th state championship, his last one in high school. He was loved and respected by coaches and wrestlers alike, and he even had wrestling scholarships coming from major wrestling universities like Iowa or Ohio State, where wrestling can be as big as football, or even bigger, if you can believe that. Well, the week of the state tournament came, and the weekend before was his birthday. He ate so much food on his birthday that he packed on 8 pounds. He spent the next week cutting weight in any way that he could. He ran in trash bags and sat in a sauna for hours at a time just to sweat the weight off. And he even went so far as to starve himself to make sure that he didn't put on any extra weight. He made weight for the state tournament, but he didn't win. He lost in the first round to one of the weakest kids in the state because he wasn't physically prepared. Hello, my name is Sam Hopkins, and I'm here to talk to you about how to stay fit to wrestle, because I don't want anyone to end up like that wrestler. Now, what you have to understand about wrestlers is that in wrestling, everybody has to fit within a certain weight class. These weight classes are divided by about 6 or 7 pounds. And for most people, 6 or 7 pounds is a lot of weight to lose. But for a wrestler, we can do that in a single practice because the wrestling rooms are so hot and we sweat so much and we work very hard. So what you have to remember about making a wrestling food choice is that you have to put back in whatever you burn off to stay healthy. But to stay in your weight class, you have to burn off whatever you put in. Thus begins the vicious cycle of weight management. Many wrestlers try and satisfy this cycle by running in sweats and trash bags and sitting in a sauna for hours at a time like the wrestler I mentioned earlier. And some wrestlers even go so far as to purge to get out anything they have eaten. While all these methods will get you down to weight, you will not be physically prepared to take on anyone that's any good at wrestling. When you're trying to make a fit wrestling choice, you have to remember 3 primary things: hydration, protein, and carbohydrates. Each of these things provides something for the body that is necessary for a wrestler to either recover or prepare for a wrestling match. First and most importantly, you have to remember to boost up and hydrate. Most people should drink about 8 8-ounce glasses of water a day, according to the University of Georgia. But wrestlers need to drink twice that because of all of the water that we're losing through sweat during practices. Wrestlers need to drink about 128 ounces of water every day. And that is an entire gallon, just if you want to not put it in such a big number. When you're making a drink choice, you don't have to always drink water as long as you get that gallon that you want. But when you are drinking other things, make sure that you avoid sugary drinks like soda or fatty milks, because fatty milks, while they give you all the wonderful vitamins and minerals associated with milk, they also put a lot of fat in your body, and fat is some of the hardest weight for a wrestler to burn off. Instead of drinking fatty milks, you can drink skim milk, because skim milk has little to no fat and still provides you with the calcium and vitamins and other minerals that are necessary for a wrestler and anyone. Instead of drinking soda, you can switch to eating fruit, because while fruit juices have a lot of vitamins and minerals, you are also adding a lot of sugar in there to make it taste good, and you're losing the fiber that comes with the flesh of the fruit. Some fruits that are really great for hydration are fruits like melons, or since we're in Georgia, peaches, because they are very high in water content. Some melons can even have up to 75% water in there. So say you eat a pound of melon of any kind, say a cantaloupe like this. You're really only eating about 4 ounces of food, but you're putting in 12 ounces of liquid because that's 75% of the 16 ounces in a pound. So remember, make sure you boost up and hydrate so that you stay healthy and avoid things like heat stroke and muscle cramps, because I don't need to explain why a muscle cramp could shut down a wrestling match. The next thing you have to remember is that throughout a wrestling match or a wrestling practice or anything you do during the day, you're constantly breaking your muscles down. And the only way to rebuild muscles is with protein. Now, not all protein is created equal. Some is greater than others. Lots of people think that if you just eat a lot of protein, like say having a lot of deli meats or a lot of sausage or hot dogs, can give you a lot of protein, and technically you're right, but you have to eat a lot more of fatty meats, and plus you're putting fat into your body, because fatty meats have a low protein per ounce. One incredible thing about protein is that it can be found in very high quantities in very small amounts if you look for lean meats, like steak, fish, and chicken. So when you're making your protein choice, make sure that you stock up on protein so that your muscles don't atrophy or become smaller, and so that you can avoid muscle cramps, just like with hydration. The next, and one of the most important things that you have to remember, is to fuel up with carbohydrates. Now, carbohydrates are usually associated with calories, and lots of people have a negative stigma attached to calories, but calories are only a measure of energy within something you're eating. So that's like saying inches are bad, because inches are just a measurement of length. We are constantly burning energy throughout a wrestling practice or throughout your day, so wrestlers need to eat even more calories than most people, and the best way to get calories is through carbohydrates. But not all carbohydrates are created equal. There are processed carbohydrates which leave a lot in your body afterwards because of the processes used to make them. And if your body can't get rid of that because it can't digest it, you're leaving weight in your body that's unnecessary to be there and not giving you anything out of it. So the best way to get your carbohydrates is through natural sources like fruits, vegetables, and grains. But even when it comes to natural carbohydrates, not all carbs are created equal. Because there are complex carbohydrates and there are simple carbohydrates. Complex carbohydrates take a long time for your body to break down because they have a complex chemical structure. So they release energy over time to you, which is why they're great for, say, the night before a wrestling tournament. So the night before a wrestling tournament, eat some grains like whole wheat bread or corn, because corn provides some amazing complex carbohydrates because they take a very long time for your body to break it down. Now, right before a wrestling match, if you're looking for just a little bit of extra energy, you should probably go for some simple carbohydrates. And that's what's in most of your processed carbs. They'll provide you energy almost immediately because they're very easy for your body to break down because they have a simple chemical structure. The best way to get simple carbohydrates is through fruits. And like I mentioned earlier, many fruits can also provide you with a notable amount of hydration. So it's always a great choice to pick fruit first. Now that we've talked about everything a wrestler needs to make fit choices, let's talk about how to get that into your diet. But first, let's talk about MyPlate, because the best way to figure out if your diet has all the things I've mentioned earlier is to use MyPlate, because MyPlate will break down whatever you're eating, because nobody eats just a piece of chicken. People eat an entire meal, and you need to figure out how much protein and how many carbohydrates are in your whole meal. And MyPlate is a great way to do that. But now let's talk about how you should eat your meals. Now, according to most nutritionists and very many nutritionists at the University of Georgia, you should not be eating the standard 3 square meals a day that most people eat. You should actually be eating 6 to 8 small snack-sized meals throughout the day, because that gives your body time to break down whatever you're eating. Because if you only put a little bit in, your body doesn't have to put that much effort into digesting it. But if you put it a lot in at once, it takes time for your body to break it down. So when you're making a food choice, make sure that it has 2 of the 3 things I mentioned earlier, because if it doesn't, you're really just putting something into your body that's not helping you enough, and you have to burn it off anyways. So when you're making a snack-sized meal choice, pick a salad with some fruit in it, because it'll provide you with simple carbohydrates, and if you use high water fruits, hydration, and the simple carbohydrates from the fruit in the salad. If you throw some chicken in there, you're also getting protein, so you're getting all 3. Another great idea for a snack-sized meal is a fish fillet with a side of vegetables or fruit or whatever you feel is necessary for how soon you are going to be wrestling after that. So now that we've talked about everything a wrestler needs and how to get it into your body, I hope you understand that when wrestlers talk about cutting weight, we're not just trying to look good in our singlets. Because trust me, nobody looks good in one of these. Thank you.